Welcome to sewing class. I'm Annette Julie, and today we're going to be learning how to prepare our muslin cloth for sewing. This is part 2, so we've already done the ripping of the 18 inches of the muslin and ripping all the pieces, the 6x4, 18x18, the 12x12, and the 5x12s. So if you haven't watched that video, please watch the first one. And we're going to continue with ironing and blocking and preparing our muslin swatches. Well, let's put some of this aside. And let me show you what you shouldn't have on any of your swatches. You should not have this selvage edge. All the edges should be ripped. And none of the edges should be cut with your scissors. Here's another type of selvage edge. Has a little orange thin line in it. This is a much narrower selvage. Maybe you'd only have to snip off 3/4 of an inch to pull that off. But we don't want it on the edge of any of our sewing projects. So if you missed that last video and you didn't get that point, you have got to snip off an inch. Take all the selvage edge off and do not use that for all of your projects. Well, let's start with some small ones. Here we have the 4x6s. Go ahead and give them a little press. A little bit of steam. And what we want to do right now, after we press all of our muslin, is that we want to check to make sure that each one is making a right angle. So on a grid ruler, or on a piece of paper, let's pick one that the edge isn't curled. You want to lay that down on that grid, and you want to see if this bottom line is matching the grid and this top line, which they aren't. They're a little bit off, so we're just going to give it a little tug in the direction that it's short. Pull it on the bias, and that looks real nice. So that's blocked. Now, say you don't have a grid pad at home. You can take a piece of paper, which also has right angles. You can lay your swatch on the corner of that paper and see if it's over. And if it is, or it's under, then you're going to pull on that bias to make it match and make a right angle. So you're going to do this with every one of your swatches. Lay it down, look, see, oh, it's not making right angles. I need to block it. And if it's being stubborn, apply a little bit more heat and steam, and right after you iron it, then go ahead and do that blocking, because that's the easiest time. And once it cools down, it more sets into place. That one looks pretty good. Okay, let's get on to the next one. Not all of them are going to need blocking. I think that's awesome. Okay, so we've made it through the 4x6s, and we're going to go on to our next swatches. Here I have the 12x12. Let's see what's happening with this. Oh, it's definitely off. Well, we know we have to press it. It's got ripped edges, which are curling. Give it some heat and steam. Allow the fibers to loosen up. Okay, let's put it on our grid ruler or our piece of paper. Oh, that's looking really good now. Good. No blocking necessary on this piece. Put this aside. We've done several of our projects. Now we're going to go ahead and we'll do some 12 by 5s. Let's go ahead and give it a nice pressing because we have ripped edges that need to lay nice and flat. Oh, we can see here, this one's off just a little bit. Just pulling up there a little bit. So let's go ahead and pull on that bias and help it grow. Lay it down, matching that length grain there. Oh, that looks really good now. We have blocked this out. Go ahead and do the rest to your 12 by 5s. Now the last one we have is our 18 by 18. Let's take a look at it. Definitely could use some pressing. We've got some ripped edges, and this is our largest one, so I left this till the last. Go ahead and practice on the smaller ones first with your blocking. And this is a nice size. Could end up being a dinner napkin. Okay, it's nice and heated. Let's put it on our grid. And there we can see it's pulling up. Let's pull it a little bit on that bias. Let's make it grow in the area that it is short. It was lifting off on this corner, so I'm pulling this direction on the bias. Now let's go ahead and place it back on our grid, matching that right angle there. Perfect! We have successfully blocked our 18 by 18, our 12 by 12, our 5 by 12s, and our 4 by 6s. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. This is Annette Julie. Thank you.